peace. And Mubarak has been a traditional ally. He's a bad guy, but Obama doesn't even flinch. He doesn't flinch in supporting here. But he also doesn't flinch to when he hears the cries of the people in Iran. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't look. I don't know if he's playing golf. I don't know where he is. He says, rise up, overthrow. But here in Iran, he remains quiet. This is pro-Israel under Mubarak. This is anti-Israel under Iran. But Mubarak has to go. He urges revolution. The State Department even works closely with activists to help destabilize the region and trigger Egypt's revolution. Our government at that time dismisses the Muslim Brotherhood. Say they're not anti-Israel, they're secular. But that doesn't make sense, because while they're saying that, we have the leader of their spiritual Muslim Brotherhood side giving a speech a week later in the square. We're showing you this while he's telling you they're peaceful. We're saying, warning, this guy's coming back. A week later, he comes back, and he gives a speech here to these people. It was 31 years since he was able to give a speech. In it, he says that he despises Israel. In his own words, he's advocating using children as human bombs. Go kill Israel without fear. But they say the Muslim Brotherhood won't play a role. Wall Street Journal says the Islamist Muslim Brotherhood, founded in 1928, the remnants of the old ruling National Democratic Party, are the loudest champions of today's referendum and the current timetable. They want elections before democratic forces can organize. So we have the Muslim Brotherhood that they tell us are not radicals, but they are, and are not going to play a role, will. But the revolutions spread. They spread throughout the region. They spread over to Bahrain. They spread down to Syria and Oman and Saudi Arabia. But we're only protecting here, remember. Something's wrong. Because as this is happening, the president cannot take, again, like he did with Iran, he cannot take 5 minutes to make a statement on Libya and say, rise up. He is too busy. Believe it or not, this is true. He took time and rearranged his schedule so he could coach his daughter's basketball team. Well, when I first heard that, I thought, okay, well, he's a dad. That's okay. But then I find out his daughter isn't even playing or practicing that day. She's skiing. Not a word about Gaddafi. He lets it stew. As he sits back, the world finally starts to come to a consensus. Obama says he's going to wait for the UN. He wants the UN to take the lead. And Europe openly questions if Obama even cares about this at all. So are we seeing the worldview of the United Nations? Well, you could say that. Remember, the president was cheering for Egypt and Madison, but silent on Gaddafi. Now, we know Jeremiah Wright praises Gaddafi. We know that Farrakhan is a fan, and Farrakhan and Jeremiah Wright visited Gaddafi. But what does that tell you? I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand why he wasn't just securing the airspace. And so we told you when we found this, that Muammar Gaddafi, as recent as 2009, had an American PR firm work to rehabilitate his image around the globe. This is really interesting. I want to turn this one around. He worked to rehabilitate the image of Gaddafi, and some people were involved that were interesting. It's Monitor. It's out of Harvard. They wanted to rehabilitate him. Who was involved? Well, there was Cass Sunstein and George Soros. Now, Soros is the biggest donor to the Fabian Socialist London School of Economics, the school that Gaddafi's son attended. And Soros helped Gaddafi's son get in. Remember, rehabilitating the image. Soros encourages the London School of Economics to accept a $1.5 million donation from Gaddafi's son, and when Gaddafi's son gets caught plagiarizing on his thesis, and Soros had vouched for him, well, Soros was humiliated, and he offered this statement that, quote, he had advised the school that it was acceptable to receive the contribution from Gaddafi's son, Saif, on the grounds that he appeared at the time to be a believer in an open society. And he claimed to be moving Libya in that direction. Remember, an open society. What is it? According to Karl Popper, who, by the way, is Soros's mentor, an association of free individuals respecting each other's rights within the framework of mutual protection supplied by the state, thus achieving through the making of responsible, rational decisions a growing measure of humane and enlightened life. So we have to go to some guy, Popper, that you've never heard of, I've never heard of, but he loves, instead of going back to our founders. It's a new world order. But there's more to this. More to this that we tied together today. That just starting to make things look a little dangerous for America and Israel. I'll show it to you when we come back. All right. I know we're moving fast tonight. Please DVR this show and share it with a friend. I've been telling you something is not right in Libya. And I'm going to show you how our good friend of Israel is being led into war, and it will start the world on fire. I'm going to tie this together for you tonight. Okay, England and France. We have England and France. Now, since when has America ever followed France? England and France. We're following them into war. Two colonial powers. And why are they going in to help the people of Libya? Why? Three little letters. They get oil from Libya, right? So the president from the left goes and follows colonial powers to go fight a war for oil. Now here's the justification that he has used. The Responsibility Project, the International Coalition for the Responsibility to Protect. All right. We have Soros and Cass Sunstein helping rehabilitate Gaddafi because, in Soros's words, he promised an open society. But then Soros is burned. Then Libya and France and England are followed in. After the UN approves, the U.S. says, okay. And what they're using is the responsibility to protect. Now, most people have never even heard of this. They don't know. But the UN has embraced this concept, but most Americans haven't paid attention to the UN. And it sounds good on the outset. It asserts that governments must protect their people from four evils: genocide, war crimes, ethnic cleansing, and crimes against humanity. It's great. Those four things. Who's not against those? Now, if they don't do that, then the international community can take some steps, including the dispatch of a UN envoy, the imposition of by the UN Security Council of sanctions, and the threat of International Criminal Court, ICC, prosecution. So far, sounds good, except it's all international crap. But let's just go with it. All right, it's for all those things. But the red flags began today when I started to look and see who was for it, who was leading the idea. It was Samantha Power. Do you even know who she is? She's currently an advisor to Obama on foreign policy. She wrote a book called The Problem from Hell. Do we happen to have that book here? Here it is. The Problem from Hell. Right here. It's all about genocide. Obama called her after reading her book on genocide. But it really wasn't Obama. Because then he left to Harvard, she left to Harvard to work for Obama. And she became his foreign policy advisor. So she's in the White House. But it was more than just a book. See, this book is really quite anti-Israel. because they're being played out right now. Before she was officially advising the president, someone else asked her what her policy would be if she were to advise the president on Israeli-Palestinian issues. Now listen, here's how she responds. Watch.
Putting something online might mean alienating a domestic constituency of tremendous political and financial import. It may more crucially mean sacrificing or investing, I think more than sacrificing, literally billions of dollars not in servicing Israelis military, but actually in investing in the new state of Palestine, in investing billions of dollars it would probably take also to support, I think, what will have to be a mammoth protection force.
A mammoth. Let's remember this. A mammoth. Is it 3 M's or 1? 3. Yes. Not very often that a bad speller gets the word mammoth. Mammoth. Do you know how bad this job is for somebody who is a really lousy speller? Mammoth protection force. Let's remember that. So now she's an advisor. She's saying that we have to stop investing in Israel and start investing in this new Palestinian state. And it's a mammoth protection force that they need. One that would protect against Israel. Okay? Now, so who is she? Let me come back over here for a second. Because she's the one who convinced, according to all the papers, she's the one who convinced Barack Obama to go ahead and follow England and France, and I see their underpants. Obama is now attacking with these guys because she's the one who's the linchpin. But there are a few things you need to know. She's not just an author. Guess who took this idea from her book and got it done? Guess who thought, hey, you know what? This is a brilliant idea. George Soros. The Global Center for the Responsibility to Protect lists George Soros' Open Society Institute as one of the 2 foundations that bankroll it. So this policy that we're following from the UN came actually from him. But someone is missing here. Muammar Gaddafi. Sure, we're going after him, but then look, Cass Sunstein, he's all alone. Is it good for him to be all alone like that over here? No. He should find a mate. Oh, you know who? This makes a cute couple. I pronounce them husband and wife. She is married to Cass Sunstein. You couldn't write this. If it were a movie, people would walk out. It's not a movie. And the ending depends on you. The ending of this movie, only each individual American can write. But you better catch up to the movie before the ending catches up to you. More in a minute.